Utopians, and welcome to the Utopia of Nerd News. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Adam.
And today we have awesome news, like we have all the time. Come on, duh.
Definitely.
It's just duh factor. Anyway, so we're going to start with games, like we always do.
Yes, we are. In fact, games this week is loaded, and I've got tons of cool stuff for you. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one is the Namco Bandai has trademarked 3 more titles for Tales games. Say this because about 3 weeks ago, I believe we had 3 Tales games trademarked, which are Catastora, Creeless, and Zestaria, which actually sound like original IP kind of titles. These ones are Bibliotheca, Memories, and Favorite. So, I don't know, to me they sound like they could be like side games or iOS games or fan games. Because Tales of Favorite and Tales of Memories don't sound like actual games.
I could see Tales of Memories a little more than Tales of Favorite, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I just get the feeling like Tales of Bibliotheca could be like a historical thing or something involving the Tales games. I don't see them as like Azilia or Symphonia or Abyss or something like that.
I just thought about this. What if Tales of Favorite was like a fighting game?
What if it was?
And you had like all the Tales characters you could choose from,
and they're going like a Persona Arena thing.
Yeah,
that would be pretty awesome. Actually, I'd be down for that. I'd want a Tales fighting game. I could have Jude and Luke fight to the death.
There you go.
Or Tyr and Mila, or whatever group. Be awesome. I'd love it. Moving on, Diablo 3 has its first real big expansion announced. And it's called Reaper of Souls. It'll add the new Crusader class, which will be kind of a warrior-ish character, where they have a shield and a flail, and he's kind of a battle-worn knight-looking kind of character type. Obviously, you get different loot and stuff. But they said they want to have some ranged with him, too, so he can kind of switch between being a ranged character and a close range, depending on how distance he is towards the enemies. They did say his shield wasn't just for defense, it will also be for offense. Those are just kind of the little things that have come out about that character. I'm not sure if he's going to like paladin it or what he's going to actually do when it comes to it. But they also will be adding loot runs, which will be like runs you can just like pick up. It'll put you in a dungeon. It'll give you like a random dungeon from the game with random enemies, so you could get like fire enemies in like the middle of a city, and then it gives you like a big boss, and they all come out with new loot, and I'm gonna assume it's based off your level. So it's just bonus stuff for like in-game content that you can do to get fat loots and level up your character still after you beat the game, as well as they're called the Nephilim trials, which are like time kind of based trial things. Yeah.
Sounds like that guy's pretty OP. Like, he's very versatile.
Yeah, the Crusader class?
Yeah, he's like Captain America.
That's what it sounds like. If he can throw a shield, then we know what's up. The next thing to talk about is Elder Scrolls Online.
Yes.
This, for those who might not know, the Elder Scrolls games, which are like Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, Arena, and Daggerfall, there's an MMO coming out. Not made by Bethesda, it's being published by Bethesda, but it's not, which is probably my biggest concern for it. But they came out with some new news that it will have a $15 a month subscription fee on top of the $60 to purchase the game. So a lot of people are questioning this, I suppose, because the last game to successfully do this was World of Warcraft.
Right.
Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn is coming out with a $12 a month fee, and it's $30 for the PC. $40 for the PlayStation 3. By the way, Elder Scrolls Online will also be able to play on consoles. We know that WildStar, when it comes out, wants to have a subscription fee. So it looks like right now we're going to have a big fight to see who lasts. I would be very, very surprised to see Elder Scrolls not, after maybe a year and a half, move to a free-to-play. I would not be too surprised. They said it's because they want to have high-quality content, and they would need the $15 a month. But that was the same thing that BioWare and EA were stating for Star Wars, and the content was so expensive for them to do. It took so much time to develop full voice acting and stories and stuff that it makes it really hard to come out with added stuff to the game, which is why that particular MMO really got pushed down after people got through the story-related content because the end game wasn't there. What are your thoughts on the $15 a month?
It's not that bad. World of Warcraft is like 25.
No, I was 15.
Oh, 15? I felt like 25. It feels like 25 when you're poor. But I suppose, I mean, that's not that bad. And I guess I kind of saw it coming, I guess. It's not a surprise to me.
It didn't surprise me either.
So, but I'm excited for...
Right. Those big AAA MMOs, for those who might not be aware of some of the back stuff behind it, MMOs are head and shoulders the most expensive games you could possibly ever create. This game will probably cost 2.5 times what Skyrim did when it all says, when it's done and it's out. Again, my biggest concern is it's the only Elder Scrolls game not made by Bethesda because they don't make MMOs. So they have another group. Granted, they do have their lore master going over everything. They have their heavy influences because it is still their game. They're just having somebody else develop it. So maybe that's not something to worry about, but it's a little bit different. So we'll see.
I'll have faith in them.
Yeah, we'll play it when it comes out.
Yes.
Arguably the most popular simulation franchise of all time, The Sims.
Yes.
Sims 4 has some released data.
Oh.
Because it's being worked on. And one of the really cool things they said they're adding to Sims 4 is emotions. You know how in other games, like, something happens to you, your person's like kind of, yeah, and they have like a timer on it and things like that. This way, they're actually adding more depth and emotion to the characters.
Oh.
So it'll be like, your person's just naturally kind of an angrier person, right? And it'll show in their face when you're playing the game. It'll affect the way they do things. Maybe they don't work as well with others or something.
They burn the house down.
But they work harder, right? But if somebody's kind of a depressed person, they're going to be lazier. They're not going to want to do stuff. And different things that happen. Say, if your lover cheats on you, it can turn you into an angry, ragey person for a while. It can turn you into an emotional person, depending on however things work out. So I think that's kind of a cool thing to add, right?
It's definitely a cool thing. I could see someone, they get cheated on and then they burn the house down.
Right. Another thing that they're calling the Smart Sim is basically their way they're building some kind of like AI or whatever to increase the intelligence of the AI for the Sims. So that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah. You know what they should do? Sims should come out with a game where it's like, they have their little Sim talk or whatever, but then they have this mysterious Sim that comes in and talks human.
That would be weird. You know what else they should do? They should have a simulation where you're building a city and you try and make it popular and have people live there. That could be a thing too.
Isn't that a thing already?
And the last little bit for Sims 4 is they said, and I'm not sure exactly how they're doing this, even though it's going to have better graphics, they said it's going to have lower PC specs than the third game.
Well, that's nice.
That's crazy to think about. Like,
that is crazy.
I don't know if it's
nice.
an art style or what, but
could be.
I don't know, because if it has lower PC specs than the third game is not a super high-end one.
Right.
So they're definitely making it accessible, which is great, because that's normally kind of the Achilles heel when trying to bring a casual audience into a PC gaming realm. So that's nice. It's kind of like what WoW did for MMOs. They went with an easier art style and things like that to open it up.
Still beautiful.
It was. It's about how you do things, not exactly what. If you go for serious realism on everything, sure, that'll make the game look great, but it's harder for a lot of people to play the game, and it doesn't actually always look better than a little bit of cartooniness, It's a video game. Moving on to just a little side note, Yakuza, which is a franchise, it's kind of a niche one, not a hugely known one, had a game announced. As of right now, it's only announced for Japan, but it's called Yakuza Restoration. And like I said, not a lot's known about it. It's going to take place in more of a feudal Japan, unlike the rest of the series, which is kind of a modern time period. They're going to go back to a feudal era, and a lot of people are rumoring that this could be the first in the series for the next generation. So that's kind of cool. If it does well in Japan, it'll obviously be brought over. I'd be very surprised if it didn't. There was some of the other Yakuza games not brought over, but some were, some weren't. And the last little thing, a trailer that I highly recommend you watch. It will be up over these two right here because they are very much connected to it. And that is a real full trailer for Lego Marvel. And trust me, this is a very good trailer.
Oh my gosh.
Definitely recommend watching.
So adorable!
Yes, it has Lego Silver Surfer, and he's so cool looking. And it has Lego Venom, and he's so awesome looking.
And it has all the other Marvel people, and they're so freaking cyborg, you know.
Right,
looking.
Deadpool looks really cool with his blades. And
there's a special surprise at the end of the trailer.
There
you have
is.
to watch it.
Spoilers, it may be the main villain.
But I think, you know, just to put it out there, a thing that Lego does very well is adding humor into their games. Like let's take Lord of the Rings for example. It follows the storyline of the movies, but they still they have so much humor in it.
Right, but this they get to create their own story with the humor added in as they want.
And I think I like that a little better is when they don't follow storylines, because then you're like, oh, I know what happens next. I have to face a stupid wraith or whatever.
Right.
So then it keeps you guessing.
Like Batman 2.
I loved Batman 2.
That was an awesome game. It was so much fun to play.
It was so much fun.
So much fun. For all ages. Now moving on to movie news. You may have heard of a little thing that's happened over the last couple days. We might have gotten our Batman.
Yep.
But the name of Ben Affleck. He's signed for multiple movies, we know that. We don't know exactly how many movies, but he did say multiple. What are your thoughts on Batfleck?
I'm glad that Christian Bale said no.
Mm-hmm.
How I feel about Ben Affleck is a whole nother matter. I can't see him. Like, he's still Daredevil to me, but I don't know, I just can't see him playing Batman. I mean, a tiny, tiny bit, and I'm sure him and Henry Cavill will, you know, hit it off. But I don't know. I know a lot of people are disappointed with who they chose, and I can't say that I blame them. That's just kind of weird. He's kind of getting old, people.
Well, he's supposed to be old. They wanted somebody. They wanted somebody in their upper 30s to 40s. And he's 42 years old. He's the oldest person to ever play Batman.
Wow.
Or at least to put on the suit. You know, honestly, at first, I was like, oh, seriously? You know, Ben Affleck, he's a great director. He's a great director, but he's not a great actor.
He's okay.
He's alright. And my first thought was, maybe they'll have him just kind of help Zack Snyder with his directing along in the movie, and that'll kind of make up for it. That was my first initial thought, because the Man of Steel, man, that needed some serious directing. It needed some help on that. But sticking with Batman here, you know, honestly, the more I've thought about it, the more I've kind of come to a realization that I think he'll be fine. It's not based off how good or bad he will be at Batman. He'll have kind of a look. He's got the jaw that could fill out the suit and stuff.
That butt chin.
My biggest concern with him is when I'm watching it, if he doesn't blend into the character. Like, if I'm looking at him and if I see Bruce Wayne, or am I going to see Ben Affleck? Because he's a big commodity, right? People know his face, they know his name. I don't want to see Ben Affleck. I want to see him as Bruce Wayne / the Batman.
Yeah.
And I'm really concerned. That's my biggest concern right there. And that's not something that they can help, because he's not a great actor. They really have to do some work to make him look a little bit different.
Right, like Christian Bale, like totally like fit into that Bruce Wayne. I mean, like the slicked back hair and everything. Like it just worked.
He's the best Bruce Wayne there's ever been.
Oh, come on.
No, it's
Val
a
Kilmer.
fact. No, and I don't want, because that's something else I'm worried about. People comparing him to Christian Bale. Christian Bale, in my opinion, has fit the role better than anybody else as far as blending Batman and Superman. I know some people hate the scratchy voice or different things like that, but in total, putting both packages, the Bruce Wayne and the Batman together, I think he's been the best guy we've ever had for that. And I do not want people to compare him to Ben Affleck, because that's not fair to Ben Affleck.
No, it's not.
Because there's been tons of Batman.
There have. Let's go through them. George Clooney, Val Kilmer.
Michael Keaton.
Don't
laugh. He's probably number 2. Christian Bale.
Yep, Christian Bale. Adam
West, yeah.
Adam West.
Oh, no, there's the best right there.
That's the best.
I think he'll be fine. I think my more concerns, or my bigger concerns, I should say, are with the directing. You know, how is the directing and the writing going to mesh this all together? And as far as the Batman character goes, I think because they wanted an older guy to counteract Superman being a 30-year-old, I think that there may be a little fight between the two earlier on, kind of like what happened with the Avenger movies, and they had all the guys kind of one-on-one each other for a short period of time, just for the fans' sake almost. Mm-hmm. They need to have a main villain. They need to have somebody good that the two of them go up to fight, and it better not just be like a non-powered person. It has to be somebody who's really powerful.
Please no Joker.
whether it's Brainiac or it has to be somebody who's really powerful. Maybe Bizarro. I don't know. Somebody, Black Adam. I don't know. Anyway, and I think they'll have kind of a Batman being kind of like almost a mentor to the Henry Cavill Superman, because that was kind of the thing they were going for, was he's not really the hero yet. He was just kind of into that role. And they were trying to build him up. And maybe he'll be like that, hey, you have to learn how to control what you're doing. You decimated an entire city in your last fight. Things like that. And they'll have Batman kind of help him along, and they'll be the kind of creation of the Justice League together, with Batman being the brains and Superman the brawn kind of a thing. And I think that that's the way they should go, and hopefully they do go. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, that would be great, but we'll see.
Right. Anyway, moving off the Batfleck thing. In an interview, Kevin Feige was talking, and he actually said who the main villain of Guardians of the Galaxy is. Now, when the second Avengers movie, Age of Ultron, was announced, and people were like, oh, really? Thanos isn't the main villain of that? He's probably going to be in the Guardians of the Galaxy as the main villain. We know he's in the movie.
Yeah.
He's not the main villain of the movie. No. It's going to be a character they've actually already announced, which I'm fine with because they have a ton of people. And it's Ronan the Accuser, who's played by Lee Pace, for those who don't know, and I'm completely fine with that. I want somebody who's not a known commodity, just like the team itself, you know? Right. It's kind of a birth for all of it.
I love Guardians of the Galaxy.
And we know Thanos will be in the movie, and they did say that he'll be in the movie more than just a turn and a smile like he was at the end of Avengers. He'll actually be part of the movie itself. Probably, I don't know if he'll be like pulling the strings kind of thing, or what it'll be. We know he's obviously related to Gamora. He's her adopted father. But it's exciting for me, because it's exactly what I wanted from it. It's not somebody you're going to be like, oh look, it's the guy that the Avengers are going to fight in the third movie. It's somebody else. And they did say that they will be very much connected. We don't know how they'll be connected, but this movie and the other Marvel movies are definitely intertwined.
Well, come on, they gotta be. They gotta be, because they just gotta be.
Right. The next thing, on probably dropping our note a little bit, we have a new actor for the Fast and the Furious 7 movie, which is somebody you're not going to know. His name is Tony Jaa. He's from Thailand. He does a lot of martial arts movies, especially over in the East, namely the Ombak series, which is, I think there's like 3 of them. But, I mean, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Woo!
Can't wait for number 8.
And going back up in news a little bit, we got some Star Wars Episode 7 stuff. It's not story-related, but it's something that's, I think, very, very important to the movie. And for those of you who know J.J. Abrams and know the kind of person that he is with movies, he hates digital. He does not want to do movies in digital. Star Trek was done in 35mm film. And he said Star Wars will also be done in millimeter film. It will not be digital, which is a different from the previous George Lucas trilogy, the episodes 1 through 3, Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, and Revenge of the Sith. Those were done in digital. Those are some of the first movies actually done in digital film. This is going back to the kind of film that you saw with the original ones. Yeah. It's more realistic, I guess.
They're going to use like the little plane models. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. If we went back to that, oh man.
Yeah, it should be less, I guess, CGI looking, hopefully, things like that. I mean, I have full faith in J.J. Abrams. Yeah. He's bringing his favorite filming person onto this movie, the guy he used for Star Trek and things like that. So, I'm definitely excited for this movie. And this is news that really makes me happy.
Yes.
The next thing is Natalie Dormer of Game of Thrones and Tudors and different shows like that has been announced as Cressida in Hunger Games: The Mockingjay, which is the 3rd movie. So that's just a thing.
That's a thing.
Woo! Go Game of Thrones. Bradley Cooper is in talks to join a certain Marvel film. He's rumored to be in talks for a certain raccoon in a certain Marvel film. Specifically Rocket Raccoon, going back to Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't like this for the similar concern that I had with Batfleck, which is I don't want people to see Rocket Raccoon and hear Bradley Cooper. And because actors in Hollywood have a tendency, when they voice act, I'm doing hand quotations here, when they voice act, they do their normal speaking voices. They don't actually act with their voices. They just say the words in the way they want to say them. They don't tweak anything. And I don't want that to happen. I want Rocket Raccoon to sound unique. That's why I liked David Tennant. Not just because, yeah, he's a good actor from Doctor Who, and most people don't recognize him, but he's somebody that can do different voices. And I want Rocket Raccoon to sound completely unique and to sound like Rocket Raccoon, not Bradley Cooper. And that's my concern.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Bradley Cooper.
Watch Silver Linings Playbook.
I'm still no.
Next, something that's kind of movie, kind of book. I'm hoping I don't trample over something you're going to say. But Avatar has announced that there will be 4 original books with unique story stuff to come out alongside the 2, 3, and 4 movies as far as in this span. So that's the thing. If you're a big fan of the Avatar universe, you can pick up some books to get some more details.
Do it.
Okay, hopefully I don't mess this name up, but Marion Cotillard has replaced Natalie Portman as Lady Macbeth in the Macbeth movie. If you don't know who she is, she was Talia al Ghul in the recent Batman movie. Natalie Portman backed out for an undisclosed reason, but it's been changed. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I could see it.
Okay.
Being one who has watched a few Macbeth adaptations, I guess, and also, you know, read the play. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Shakespeare. I could see her playing it. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
She can see her playing it. You heard it here first. Tell your friends Sarah can see her playing it. Done. The next one, the last real bit of actual news I have for movies, is something that really excites me. A movie called Cappy, I believe that's how it's going to be pronounced, has been announced for 2015. It'll come out the week before the Avengers 2 movie. This movie is the next sci-fi movie by Neil Blomkamp, which Blom, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but he's done District 9, and he did recently Elysium. You should watch my review on it. It's a good movie. It's a solid movie. I'm glad to see him continuing to do sci-fi. He's kind of the guy who's all in to do original sci-fi movies, and I'm glad to see it because most sci-fi stuff are the Star Wars, the Star Trek. There's the rumors of a Mass Effect movie, things that are already around, right? And he's the only guy who's really coming up with original movies, and he's doing them very well. And this will be his latest one. Not a lot's known about it. I know that Charlton Copley, who's been in both of his movies, he was one of the main villains in Elysium, and he was the main character in District 9. He will also be in this one as the main character, who they said will be a robot who gets kidnapped by, I guess, some gangsters or something. Again, not much is known about the movie, but they did say it would be a sci-fi comedy. So, I don't know, that's something I'm excited for. His movies have both been, his 2, I guess, real big movies have both been things I've definitely enjoyed. And Charlton Copley is a really good actor, so those are things that excite me.
Yay.
As a sci-fi movie fan. So, you ready to talk some trailers?
I'm ready to talk some trailers.
All right.
Let's talk some trailers.
Okay. We will talk trailers, and the first one is Pompeii. What were your thoughts on Pompeii? Box right here.
I'm excited for Pompeii. Definitely excited. Not just because Kit Harington is in it, and if you don't know who Kit Harington is, you need to watch Game of Thrones. Unless you are underage, then don't do it.
I can't believe you didn't say it. If you don't know who Kit Harington is, then you know nothing, Jon Snow.
But yes, I'm very excited. This is a period of time that is quite intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. It's definitely a period that I love. It's the old Roman period. If you were a fan of, say, the Spartacus TV series, it's the same exact time period as that. In fact, it's just I believe it's just a little bit after. And if you don't know what Pompeii is, you need to history yourself up because that's a big deal.
It's a huge deal that happened in history. But if you don't know it, I guess we could explain it a little bit. Okay,
Pompeii was a major city in the Roman Empire, and it was full of, I guess, rich people. They had their slavery. They had all those things that you associate with the dirty, dirty times of the Roman Empire. And it was a city that was built right alongside Mount Vesuvius, which turned out not to be a mountain, but a volcano. The volcano exploded into a huge thing, and all the people in the city were turned to stone and died.
Yeah.
And this is a movie, again, we know the details of the movie. Obviously, it's about a volcano and stuff, but Kit Harington is playing a main character who is, I believe, a slave, maybe even a gladiator, who, I guess, exits the city for whatever reason, I don't exactly know. But he's in love with a woman who lives in the city, so when the mountain starts going off, he's going back in, and he's trying to save her, and that is the, I guess, the synopsis for the movie.
What will happen? Who knows? Find out on Pompeii.
Right, and that comes out February of next year, so
Yes.
it should be coming out in a time where not a lot of movies are coming out, so you'll probably see a review from the two of us on it.
Definitely, and probably some more trailers about it.
Right. The next one is All the Boys Love Mandy Lane, which I can tell you to start off is not true because this movie looks stupid.
It's so stupid. I'm not into horror at all, and from the moment it started, I was like, oh look, another horror film before it even got to its horror stuff. Like, it's just dumb.
Yeah, it looks really dumb.
You can watch the trailer.
Yeah,
if
watch
you
the
want,
trailer. It's there.
But
You don't feel the need.
Yeah, don't.
It's not a good movie.
No
It
pressure.
comes out in October. That's the thing. Next is Inside Llewyn Davis. And what were your thoughts on that one?
I like it. Like, I was like, what is this? Like, it's interesting. I love his cat. But it looks really interesting. I'm gonna guess it's probably based off maybe a true story, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's an original story. But it looks interesting. It's got Carey Mulligan. And I totally didn't think it was her. So, hey, good job.
Speaking of blending into your roles.
Yeah.
Well, I will say the first thing for me to note is that the directors are the Coen brothers, who, if you know who the Coen brothers are, they are some of the best drama directors in Hollywood. No Country for Old Men, a lot of other really good movies. They've won Oscars. They're very, very good. And they're the directors for this movie. The second thing to mention is I love the art style. The art style is definitely, it's got kind of a unique look to it. Kind of how would the description be? Kind of a, not phased out, but like the color tone they kind of tweaked. And it gives it a kind of, not dark look, but kind of it's
more like
grade.
More like it makes it look a little older, I guess, in a way. So
I love it. It looks really cool. It fits perfectly. This movie looks really good. It looks like they might be trying to creep up for another Oscar or something. Like, it looks pretty darn good. I definitely suggest watching this trailer. It looks to be a very good movie. The next movie is Parkland. What were your thoughts?
Okay, this is the thing. When I watch a trailer, and when I go to the movies and everything else, I like to listen to music and to the music in it. And if this music is in the movie, it's gonna be amazing. I think it looks pretty good. Like, it interests me. I'm excited. Maybe I'll go watch it.
Okay.
Maybe.
This movie, for those who don't know, is about the assassination of John F. Kennedy.
Yep.
And first thing I'll say is the cast, for the most part, is amazing. Save for one person who I'm concerned about, which is Zac Efron. In fact, that actually bugged me when they started rolling credits on names, how he was the first one, and he was doing that, like, stupid, like, I'm a doctor having problems look, that stereotypical one, like, I'm in deep over my head, and it didn't look original. And it bugged me that he was over some truly, truly great, or at least very good actors, namely Paul Giamatti, who I believe is one of the more skilled actors out there, and he is awesome in this trailer. There's some other good actors, I'm not thinking of the names right now, but there's some really good actors in there. And it looks to be more of an ensemble cast kind of movie, not a main character movie, which is maybe why I was bugged why Paul Giamatti wasn't the first name on there, because he's such a good actor.
Yeah, it was kind of like puzzling because you don't see Zac Efron very much in the trailer. I mean, and it doesn't appear that he would be a main character. I think he'll probably do okay in the movie. I'm not a huge Zac Efron fan, like, not at all. Whenever I think about him, I think of High School Musical. But I think he'll be okay in it. But it does the movie trailer. It looks good.
The last one I'm going to do is ACOD. What were your thoughts on that one?
It looks cute. Like, it looks really funny. It's kind of original if you think about it.
Right.
But yeah, definitely one that I'd probably check out. It's got a lot of well-known actors and actresses like Jane Lynch and some other ones that I can't think of right now. But yeah, looks good. Looks funny.
In fact, when I first saw this, I was like, oh, this is probably going to suck. It looked like... But it actually didn't look too bad. Like you said, the big thing I could say, it's an original plot. And for a comedy, that's definitely a good thing, because comedies aren't always the most original. And yeah, it looked okay.
Yeah.
It didn't look like a really good movie. Like, for instance, I would definitely put Inside Llewyn Davis and Pompeii and Parkland all above it if I was going to put them in order of which I would like to spend money to go see in the theaters.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'd see it in theaters. See, this is the problem. Like, there are movies that I'm like, oh, that looks good, but I probably wouldn't see it in a theater.
I think we all have that. I have that too.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is it for my news. I took way too much time, so I will leave it up to Sarah now.
Alright, guys, so there's not a whole lot going on in the anime world. Just a few things to note, and there's a lot of stuff going on in books, but it's a lot of mass production stuff. But anyways, we'll go ahead and get started with the anime stuff. So for Funimation, if you didn't know, they had to relaunch like their website to accommodate all of their fans. Like, they are getting a ton of people who are signing up for their premium stuff, and it was just being overloaded, so they had to come up with a new Funimation.com. Obviously they're still, keeping Funimation, but it's just, they're just redesigning it, making it more easier and stuff to do. But if you are a member of Funimation, you still have access to, your premium stuff. Like, you can watch all the episodes and movies and stuff like that, so you don't have to worry. But for those of you who are like, man, I want to become a Funimation member, but you can't right now because they have the sign up down, don't worry. They have a link to where they're going to post when it will be available again. So don't fret, my friend. It'll be up again. Don't fret. So the next thing we have on our list of anime is Miyazaki was interviewed on a Japanese TV show. It's like TBS, but like Japanese TBS.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about a sequel to one of his movies, which is called Nasicaa, Nasicaa of the Valley of the Wind. And they were talking to him, and they're like, we've heard some stuff about this. And he's like, yeah, he'd be open to the possibility of a sequel, but he doesn't want to be involved in it. He's like, I don't really feel like doing it. But there's a guy who did. He's the director of Evangelion. And he wants to take it on. He's like, I really want to do it. And him and Miyazaki are colleagues and close colleagues. And so, Miyazaki's like, hey, if you want to do it, it's fine with me, go for it.
Just come up with an actual ending.
So there could be possibly a sequel to Nasicaa of the Valley of the Wind. So that's the thing.
That's the thing.
And our final thing for anime news is, we've heard of Sword Art Online, right?
I believe I've heard that, yes.
And I've heard it's pretty darn good.
I know it's pretty darn good.
But anyways, there was a little bit of a problem with Sword Art Online.
There are no problems with Sword Art Online.
Not the anime itself, but for production-wise kind of thing. The online retailer, which is, they're called Right Stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of different anime, series that you can buy and stuff, and it's great and it's fantastic. But they are now shipping replacement DVDs for Aniplex of America's Sword Art Online, Part 1 DVD set box. And they should arrive in 2 to 3 weeks. Now, the problem that occurred is Right Stuff had explained that Aniplex encountered an issue in the replication of Sword Art Online on the DVDs. So when they were sent out, people ended up getting incorrect content on their DVDs that wasn't Sword Art Online.
That would be so disappointing.
That would be like, yes, I finally got it! Let's pop it in, let's watch it! This isn't right. That would suck. But they're fixing their issue, so if you... I'm very sorry. If you are one of those who ended up not getting the correct content on your DVD of Sword Art Online, 2 to 3 weeks, it's coming to you.
And patch that hole in your wall that you punched.
Yes.
Because that's not cool, and stuff can get in that.
Yeah. Patch your wall. So yes, that is all that I have really for anime news. Not a whole lot going on. It just happens sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes. You can't license and acquire rights to animes all the time. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on to our book news. Now, there are a couple books that are coming out August 27th, and one of them is called The Time of Contempt, and it is a Witcher novel.
One.
Yeah. And
if you didn't know, the video game series are made after a series of books. Anyway.
So they have another book coming out. It's by, and I probably gonna pronounce this name wrong, but it's by Andrzej Sapkowski, something like that. But yes, it's called The Time and Contempt, and it's The Witcher. So if you're into The Witcher books, there's another book coming out for you. Or if you got involved into the games and you're like, man, I really wish there was more on The Witcher. Hey, well, there is a book. There's a book you can read. I hope you like to read. You can read. Yeah. So the next one that's coming out is called BPRD, and if you're not familiar with that, that has to do with Hellboy. And it's called, like I said, BPRD, Hell on Earth, and it's volume 6. It's by Mike Mignola, it's by John Arcudi, the editor is Scott Alley, and then they have art by Tyler Crook and Ryan Sook, which is kind of funny though.
Crook and Sook.
Yep. But anyways, if you are into this
Hellboyish
series.
Question. Is this a book series or is this a graphic novel series?
I'm going to guess it's probably a graphic novel. There wasn't a whole lot of information when I looked onto it, so I'm like, oh, it's probably a graphic novel. That's kind of what the cover looked like. So, that's a possibility. Yeah, check it out. But our last thing, it's not a book, but it's in the book stuff, which it doesn't make sense, I know. But it's pretty cool if you are into Pathfinder, the board game or card game. Pathfinder Adventure card game Rise of the Rune Lords base set is now going to be available August 27th. So if you are a Pathfinder adventurer who's into the card game, there's a new one coming out.
Woo! Card games are awesome.
So yes, that is all that I have for my anime and book news. Like I said, not a whole lot going on. And in the book stuff, there's a lot of mass production stuff. And I was like, oh, those books probably came out already, so no need to talk about them. So yeah.
Alright, so is that it for our news?
That's it for our news.
Alright, so thank you for watching. Over the course of the week, we will have a few things. I know last time we said...
a lot.
I know last week we said we would have Kick-Ass 2, but we were actually pushed back on that due to me getting sick over the weekend. We were unable to film it. So I promise this week, in fact early this week, we should have Kick-Ass 2 up.
Yes.
As well as my review for the, I believe, 7th season of True Blood? 6th, 7th, something like that. Anyway.
And
a very special video.
A very special video. It'll be our 50th video that's going up. And you'll just have to see what it's all about.
It'll be different.
It's different, but it's awesome.
It's definitely awesome. Be excited for that. So you'll have all 3 of those videos up this week, and then our next news on the next Sunday.
Yes, and then, of course, if you were not paying attention, you missed that mystery box, because it's somewhere in there.
It's somewhere.
And you need to find it, because there's always awesome videos in that.
Always.
Always.
From around the YouTubes.
From around the YouTubes.
So go find that if you missed it. Definitely check it out. And we'll see you guys next time on the Utopia of Nerd News.
Yeah, see you later.
Bye.